Hi, my name is Jessica Bankston, and today I'm going to discuss the financial analysis of three different companies to determine whom I would invest in via a short-term loan, long-term loan, as well as profitability measures of each. The three companies I chose are Fastenal, Procter & Gamble, and Sanderson Farms. To start, I'm going to discuss each company's short-term solvency by looking at their quick ratio, current ratio, and cash ratio. Each of these will give us an insight into how liquid a company is, which helps determine if the company is consistent with paying short-term debt. Fastenal's quick ratio has consistently dropped over the past 3 years. Currently, it's a quick ratio 1.303, showing us that its liquidity is dropping. Its current ratio has also dropped over the past 3 years. Currently, it is at 3.31%, which is telling us whether or not Fastenal has the ability to pay its short-term debts. The next ratio I looked at was the cash ratio. The stronger the cash ratio will help me decide if I would like to invest in a company and just how much I would invest. Fastenal has a current cash ratio of 0.2453, which is inconsistent from previous years. As an investor, you really want your cash ratio to be high and consistent. Procter & Gamble is the next corporation I decided to look into for possible short-term investment. Starting with its quick ratio, Procter & Gamble is currently at 0.57%, or 0.57, which is an increase from previous years, showing us that P&G is becoming more liquid and at a consistent rate. Procter & Gamble has also shown an increase in both its current and cash ratios. Its current ratio is at 0.99, and its cash ratio is at 0.41. The steady increase in all of these short-term solvency ratios shows me that Procter & Gamble is consistently becoming more and more liquid. The last company I looked into for a possible short-term investment is Sanderson Farms. With all three ratios, Sanderson has shown an increase. Its quick ratio is 1.99, current is 3.73, and cash is 1.19. All of these have given me insight that Sanderson has consistently been able to liquidate its assets. In conclusion, all three companies have shown increases in short-term solvency, but Sanderson Farms outshines the other two with its high ratios and consistency to become more liquid each year. As an investor, I would invest a short-term loan with Sanderson. Okay, so next I looked at each company's long-term ability to meet each obligations, or its financial leverage. Fastenal has shown an increase in financial leverage. Currently at an average of 1.23, this company's leverage is saying that Fastenal has an increasing amount of debt to assets, but it has stayed at a consistent rate. Procter & Gamble, on the other hand, has an average of 2.12. It also is very inconsistent, rising 1 year and then getting lower another. Sanderson Farms' financial leverage has steadily decreased, but is currently at an average of 1.23. In conclusion, I would give Sanderson Farms a long-term loan. While higher leverage may be beneficial during boom periods, it can cause cash flow problems in recessionary periods because there may not be enough sales revenue to cover the interest payments. Therefore, Sanderson keeps leverage low and it's consistent throughout the few years. When making an investment decision, the most important aspect is to look at each company's profitability measures. Knowing how efficiently a firm uses assets and how efficient the firm manages day-to-day operations is vital. I looked at each company's return on assets, return on equity, and price-earnings ratio in order to see which company efficiently manages profitability. So I started with Fastenal again. In its profitability measures, I first looked at their return on equity. Since making shareholders happy is a company's ultimate goal, I want the ROE to increase, and Fastenal has done so. Currently at a rate of 27.27%, it has consistently risen over the past few years. So next I looked at its return on assets. Showing a higher return on assets is beneficial when looking to invest, and Fastenal once again shows an increase here. At a current rate of 23.5%, it has grown over the past few years, but it was a slow growth. Next I looked at Fastenal's price-to-earnings ratio. When a company has high PE ratios, it shows there is a higher likelihood for future growth. It is here that Fastenal is lacking. Currently, it is at a rate of 24.82, and it has decreased over the past few years, which shows an unlikelihood for substantial future growth. Next, I looked at Procter & Gamble. We looked at their ROA, ROE, and price earnings ratio again. Procter & Gamble showed increases in both its return on equity at 16.82% and increasing, and its price earnings ratio at 20.11%. But where Procter & Gamble is lacking is return on assets, which currently is at 6.63, and it's estimated to continue to decrease. And then Sanderson Farms showed a high return on equity at 33.61% and increasing, and it also had a high return on assets at 26.71%, which is also increasing. The trouble here with Sanderson is that its price earnings ratio is significantly lower than the other two companies at 7.63% and decreasing, which leads me to believe that there is no growth potential for Sanderson. In conclusion, all three companies have potential to give me a high return on my investment, but it is Sanderson Farms that overall shows financial growth over the